How's everybody doing? So, I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna jump right into this, and this podcast, this episode is going to be based on life coaching, and I'm probably going to be all over the place about all of this, and I'll try and explain a little bit, and however it comes out, because like part of the issue that I'm grappling with right now is like, when you try and do a podcast, or when you try and do anything, you look at what people are doing well, or what people are doing, and find out the things that are doing well, and the standard pieces of it. And a lot of those pieces are like, okay, well, you got to have an intro, and you got to do this, and you got to do this. And then I really started thinking about it, and I was like, what do I want to be? And a lot of that intro was like, I was trying to find an intro because it just seemed like the thing to do, but I really didn't give a shit about an intro. And I wanted to be me. And then it was what was the actual reason that I started doing this podcasting itself? And the biggest majority of it is that I wanted to be able to talk about whatever I wanted to talk about. In a lot of the ways, it was talking about my actual journey itself. But as topics and issues would actually come along, I would have opinions about them. And I laugh about I've had a couple people over the years call me Dr. J, and I'm like, okay, I mean, if you get right down to it, I would say that I would be the third Dr. J. You've got the original Dr. J. Then you've got another guy that I actually think pretty highly of. His name's John Jankwish, and he's pretty solid, and I think that he would be the number two. But the point being, the reason that the people would call me Dr. J is because I was always pretty good at diagnosing problems and being willing to produce solutions and problem solve for my own people when they would have issues that I would take the time and curiosity to actually listen to, and fresh eyes from the outside looking in. I could always give what I thought was pretty good advice, albeit I'm human like everybody else. Sometimes I got to sit back and look at taking my own advice. But I had somebody that she's a dear friend. I've known her for a long time, and she legitimately propositioned that I should be her life coach. And I told her that I needed a minute to actually respond to come up with a clever response. And it was I had such, I guess what I felt like was a clever response, that I told her that I would just answer her in a podcast in general. I do want to clarify, like, this background. This is I took a very bold step. And when I say a bold step, I had a couple very hard tasks that I needed to accomplish. So I separated myself from my team and from my environment, threw myself into a brand new environment so that I could focus on doing some deep work and accomplishing some very big tasks. One of them is that as Coffee Junkies and Pizza Junkies moves forward in its franchising journey, that I felt like I needed to learn everything I could about franchising. So I enrolled with the International Franchise Association to become a certified franchise executive. Yes, it is an actual accredited course. Anybody that knows me from childhood, this will be like blow their mind. I was a horrible student. I wanted nothing to do with school whatsoever. So in my late 40s, for myself to voluntarily enroll in a legitimate school, because a piece of this is the University of Louisville who is actually conducting a piece of the accreditation. But the point being, they give you 3 years to complete the course. I'm going to complete in 3 months. And part of that was literally separating myself. It didn't take me much mental to get over the hump that, being an Indiana boy, the thought of separating myself from an Indiana winter, that part wasn't too hard of a mental stretch to get over. But the point is, I decided that I would spend January, February, March in Florida. So I just simply rented 3 different Airbnbs, one in January, one in February, and one in March. And candidly, the Airbnb that I chose for February is probably not somewhere that I will ever come back to again, as it's a little bit discombobulated, quite a compact, jammed in area. But I did not want that to stop me from actually putting out this podcast, because it was something that my brain has been kind of chewing on, and I had thoughts. And that was the whole point of having this podcast, is that when I really did have thoughts about things, that I wanted a platform where I could put those thoughts out there, in hopes that if I was putting perspective out there, that I'm just a big believer. Change your perspective, change your life, or let your perspective be changed and your life will change. I want to contribute to that, because I think that my perspective is a pretty healthy perspective when it actually comes to life in general. So getting back to the life coaching thing, when she literally asked me what I thought of being her life coach, I took it seriously. I took it seriously enough that it was that I'm doing this podcast. Because I do a little bit of entrepreneurial coaching, albeit I'm very selective in who I agree to coach or get involved with, specifically because I'm not, if I'm going to have to do hand holding, I will do it inside of my own organization, because I see potential in people and I want to invest in them. But like, I'm an operator, I'm trying to build my own thing. So if I'm going to get involved in any kind of coaching, I want to make sure that people have the same or similar mindset to mine, in that, like, don't ask me dumb questions. Don't ask me questions that you could very easily go to a book to find. And that was one of my things where I'm really a big believer in business coaching. It was always going back to one of those where I realized a long time ago that, like, opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one. But the only opinions that you should really be paying attention to are opinions of people that are at a higher level than you, that you are actually aspiring to get to in your life. So I generally block out the opinions of people that are not trying to accomplish or on the path that I'm on. I go after, I go after people that they are willing to offer me coaching because they've already been there and done that. And that is along the realm of business. And you can debate. I split the hair between what is a mentor and what is a coach. Other people might have a different definition than me. Fine. I was very fortunate to find my mentor, but my mentor was not necessarily a coach. He was an advisor, and the mentorship started because we started doing business with each other. But when it actually turned into a mentorship, it was I would come and I would present my progress and would tell him what my next actions were. And he would ask good questions to either agree or disagree. But his input was in telling me stories from his past entrepreneurial journey. And I took it upon myself to dissect those stories and find the lessons in them, and then come back to him again and say, this was the story that you told me. This is what I heard out of it. Am I on the right track? When I literally stepped out and hired a business coach, it was, okay, we have a very set structure on calls. At that call, I need to bring problems to that call specifically so that he can advise me, give me solutions, so that I could shortcut, I guess is what I'm getting at. Is like, I don't believe that there are any hacks in life, but if there is a shortcut, literally paying a coach to help you shortcut, meaning you don't need to develop wisdom through your own experience. It's okay to learn from other people's mistakes. It will save you a whole lot of pain. That is one reason why I have I'm looking to add author to my title itself, because I am looking to write a book, or I'm in the process of, I'm actually at like 52,000 words right now of my 18-year entrepreneurial journey, because I'm trying to plead with people to say, you don't need to make all of these mistakes yourself. And I'm trying to put it into book form because I'm trying to do my own thing. I'm not trying to build an actual coaching career, but by putting out those lessons, I'm sitting there knowing that I can help other people. And it is a somewhat of a version of life coaching, because the book is structured around lessons learned in business and life, but it is more entrepreneurial based. But what I'm getting at is that when she asked me to be her life coach, my first thought was life coaching is bullshit. And the reason that I say life coaching is bullshit is, one, I would never advise anybody to literally pay a life coach, not in this day and age. Two, I am so big about personal accountability that I think that if you were to search out a life coach, that you're doing what everybody is doing inside of the medical industry in trying to turn into the victim mentality and give up their health to the medical industries and the doctors. And all they're going to do is screw you up and prescribe you pills. And then you're going to be sitting here going, the woe is me, but I did what the doctor told me to do. You're not accepting any responsibility for your life. And so if you hire a life coach and you literally pay somebody and then you just tell them all of your problems, and that life coach goes, well, this is what I would do, and then you do it and it does not come out well or doesn't turn out well for you, then again, you're going to be sitting there going, you're not owning your shit. You're going to play the victim and go, well, I hired a life coach and I did what they told me to do and it didn't work out. That is not accepting responsibility for your own life in general. And I truly believe that the masses of people are very intelligent, and you are very much capable of, like, you know what you're supposed to do. Like, you know what the right answer is. You know what the hard choice is. You just look to other people to confirm the right choice, so you feel a little bit more comfortable. You need that extra support of somebody else going, yes, I agree. That is the choice that you should make. And like, I have a hard time coming to that place in life, because my life is my life and I want control of my life. I mean, I'll be very clear. I want autonomy in life. I own my life. I own the decisions in life. I own my health in life. I own whether I step left or right. I don't want somebody to tell me whether they think I should step left or right. I literally own my life. That said, business is another level of complexity over life itself. So, I'm search out life coaching in general, because I'm sitting there going, the pitfalls are so wide and deep that it is definitely worth paying a business coach, or paying somebody that has actually been there and done that to help you avoid some very painful lessons. But here was where my realization came in. When I started looking at, that old saying, if you want to know your trajectory, look at the 5 people that you surround yourself with. And one, it's a real statement in general. And then when you go back 20 or 30 years ago and you literally, like, I'm building my business, or I built the foundation of my business in Kokomo, Indiana, a community of 50,000 people. There is only so many prominent people that you could actually surround yourself with that is sitting at a higher level than you, if you were really dreaming big and you really have big aspirations. But in this day and age of the internet, that's not the case. So like, I have a virtual advisory board because I have went out of my way to search for individuals that I legitimately know are actual, real, legitimate entrepreneurs that have literally, they've done it. Like, they're not faking it. It's not about the cars and the glitz and glamour that they actually show on Instagram. Like, I know they are legitimate, accomplished entrepreneurs, so I heed their word in general. But when I started looking at their personal brands, it clicked that, let's say, 80% of the information, the free content around their personal brand is very much in life coaching. And then I started realizing that I was consuming their content, and 10 of them. So in a manner of speaking, I'm literally getting that life coaching perspective from 10 different lenses in life. And that's one more reason why I don't subscribe to life coaching. I'm like, why would you pay one life coach? One, you're paying them when you literally have all of these people that are putting out their advice and their perspective online for free. And two, you have so many of them to where I'm like, okay, you're the amount of successful entrepreneurs or people in the world, it is a smaller percentage. I mean, you're literally working down to the 1%. If you get rid of all the fake gurus and you sort out all the trash and the noise that you actually hear online to determine that it's truly worth listening to them and their perspective. But the point is, why would you just take one person's word for anything? And then why would you literally pay them as if their word is gospel and you're just going to live your life according to the way your life coach advises you to live your life? I mean, like, that's a level of ridiculousness. But when I really started looking at it, it was like, I have hard set principles for how I am in life. And then I look at the individuals that I have virtually surrounded myself with, and I look at how they have affected my life just by being open to receiving their perspective in general. And I realized that I was light years ahead of everybody else because I was legitimately being open to the perspective of 10 people that are in much better mental, physical, and financial states of being than I am. And they are the people that I am choosing to actually surround myself with. So I think life coaching is bullshit because I would never pay one person. I think that you should be absolutely 100% responsible and in control of your life and your decisions. And I think that you should think more of yourself because, generally speaking, you know what the right thing to do is. You're just looking for confirmation. And I don't directly go looking for confirmation, but I do think that it is kind of funny that when I'm contemplating something, there is content that will pop up from one of these 10 people, and I'm trying to find that message in the middle. So I will literally listen to their content and find those little nuggets as perspective, not them. I mean, like, okay, so here's my list of 10 people. So the first person, and I literally pay the man to coach me. His name is Dave Meltzer. He has been my business coach for a couple years now, and I literally talk to him every other week, and I literally bring my problems to him. But I can bring many, and I have brought many problems to him, both in life and in business itself, and he gives me great perspective. Before actually finding Dave, I spent a lot of time around Coach Michael Burt, and Coach Burt is one of those very rare cases that he is a coach and his background is actual coaching, and he has built a coaching business because he is really good at motivating people, but he's one of the few people that I would ever recommend from the background of a coach. His entire career is based on actual coaching itself. Then you have Bradley. Bradley was one of the first personal brands that I latched onto in general, but everything for him is based around training. And I do business with his company because he has a world-class training platform, and it is very applicable to everything that I'm doing when it comes to coffee junkies and pizza junkies and franchising those brands. And I need a world-class training platform. So I think highly enough of him and his personal brand that I literally actually do business with him. In the midst of all of that, then I stumble across Andy Frisella. And Andy Frisella is the creator of the 75 Hard program. He is also a very successful entrepreneur, and I resonate with the man because he is a blue collar, blue jean type individual, and nothing was given to him. This dude has literally come from nothing and built something very, very impressive. He has a partner of his. Everybody knows the name Ed Milet. And while I have not done any type of business with Ed Milet, he has a book called The Power of One More, and I have read that book many times. And he is a very inspiring speaker, but he will literally tell you, like, that's 5% of his life. He's coming from a position of an operator, of a builder, of a legitimate entrepreneur. Okay. Then we get into I don't just surround myself with everything business, albeit, I'm referring to Andrew Tate. Love him or hate him, I do consume his content. He has a lot of things to say about manhood and masculinity and drive and focus and living your best life, and any which way you want to cut it. He is a very accomplished individual, and a lot of the things that he says makes absolute perfect sense, no matter what you want to say about how they're trying to tear him down or take a lot of what he says out of context. And I say out of context because I listen to his long form. I truly understand the context. I'm not talking about the short form BS. One of the other individuals that I consume a lot of his content is Grant Cardone, but that's because I was buying and interested in a little bit of real estate, and he had informational products out there for real estate, and the information itself was good. So I started actually listening to him and taking in his content itself. One of the biggest that I have the most respect for in all of this is PBD, Patrick Bet David. This dude is he's awesome. And it doesn't matter whether he is giving you personal perspective or business perspective. He is literally one of the most respected entrepreneurs and thought leaders of our time. And I do consume a large amount of his actual content. Again, it is fresh perspective. And the last two that I consume a lot of their content, and I say they because they come as a team, and they are a fascinating team, and that is Alex and Layla Hormozy. Alex is like a brilliant mind. So his perspective is, and his creativity and his marketing skills are just fascinating to watch his brain work and how he actually connects dots. But Layla is the actual COO. She is the one that actually runs the company. And that is very applicable to the culture and the company that I'm actually running in the background when it comes to managing teams and developing people in general. And the reason that I'm making this point is because I have 10 people that I literally surround myself with, and I know that they are accomplished. I know that they are high character. I know that they literally own their life, that they hold themselves accountable. I know that their personal health is just as important as their mental health, is just as important as their financial health. I know that it's beyond the know and the like. I trust them. All 10 of those people, I literally trust what they say, and I'm not paying anything for their perspective. I'm literally listening to them on a podcast or watching them on YouTube or searching them out on one of these social media channels because they are willing to put their thoughts out there. It is the value that they are putting out into the world. And I don't have to pay for that. All I got to do is be a consumer of content just like everybody else. I just very much have brought it down to where, generally speaking, I only consume their content. There is so much noise out there, and there is so much fake BS out there that if I'm literally going to allow somebody to input into my brain, there's going to be a certain amount of vetting that I'm actually going to put into the process, because I guard what I allow into my brain. And I'm saying this because you should guard what you allow into your brain. Like, so much of your life is right here between your ears, and you can either be your best friend or your own worst enemy. And part of that is protecting yourself and protecting against the noise and the negativity that is out there in the world that wants to consume you. And if you are truly living an autonomous life, that you hold yourself accountable, then you are owning what information you are allowing into your brain. Because with anything, you are a body of energy, and you have all of this energy out there. And that energy is a vibration that can either raise your vibration or drag you down. And when I say drag you down, what they want to do is drag you down into being part of the masses and part of the sheep that just live in fear and scarcity, so that you will look up to the government and all of the politicians as they know all the problems and they know all of the solutions, and all you should do is just listen to them. And I'm like, what a load of shit. I hope that you will notice the 10 people I listed have nothing to do with politicians. I would never listen to a politician for personal advice or business advice. The only thing they know how to do is screw shit up and make promises that they cannot actually deliver on. They've never had to meet a payroll. They don't know anything about taking care of people. The only thing they know how to do is talk really well. But if you look into their background, it's not actually supported by any type of accomplishment in general. So you really should be very conscious about what you are allowing to come in between your two ears. All right, that's my pod. If you know somebody that needs to hear it, please share the show. And if you feel so inclined, please click the subscribe button. But do not pay for life coaching. Vet people. Determine who you actually want to consume their perspective in life, and then own your shit. Make sure that you are understanding that they are just perspective. They're not here to give you answers. They just give you perspective so that you can own your life and live your life to the fullest, knowing you are responsible for your life. You are responsible for the decisions that you make, and there are many perspectives out there. So just taking one perspective, that's kind of foolish in this day and age. All right, till next time, you guys have a good night.